Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Ether Hub. I'm Simon, again bringing you some more Magic the Gathering D&D crossover lore, and luckily I'm joined again by Jordan with a PH. He's my dungeon master on tap for this little crossover experiment that we're doing. Jordan, how you doing, man?
I'm doing so well. This is so fun. Lots of fun comments from our last video. People were like, "It's the crossover we deserve," and it was just fun.
I loved it. Yeah, I loved it. So if you guys like this content, make sure you comment down below. It goes a long way in supporting us and letting us know you guys like this stuff as much as we do, because we're having a lot of fun in these discussions right now.
Yeah, it's super fun.
But today we're going to be talking about Magic the Gathering's Planeswalkers that they're bringing in from D&D. These are characters from Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition and other editions that have a lot of extensive history and lore to them. And I thought, who better to go over these characters' lore than someone who's well steeped in all that stuff? Jordan here, he was the first one to come to mind. Luckily, he could come on here, and he's going to teach us all a little bit about the Planeswalkers found in Adventures in the Forgotten Realms today. Lolth Spider Queen. Now, I know she's not just a spider queen. She's a god of spiders, or of the Drow of some kind. I want to let you to explain it, because I'm not doing it justice, so go have at it.
So Lolth is big. Like, this is huge.
Mm-hmm.
She is the evil deity of the Drow and spiders and of some other minor things. And she got that by killing another deity and taking a lot of their they call them portfolios. So it's like,
Okay.
if I'm the god of, and some of the portfolios are weird, like I'm the god of murder and I'm the god of death or something. If you could somehow destroy that god and take their portfolio, then you become the god of murder and you have things. And so certain portfolios are stronger than others,
Mm-hmm.
but Lolth lost a lot of her power and reclaimed it by getting the portfolio of spiders and the portfolio of other stuff. And so she kind of like built herself back up.
Oh,
She's
interesting.
really interesting, really manipulative. Chaos is her jam. But her original history is that she was an elven goddess known as Arashini.
Mm-hmm.
And just like the dragons have their gods, the dwarves have their gods, elves have their, and Corellon is the main elf deity,
Mm-hmm.
and Arashini was his wife or consort, and so they were building elf life together and just doing things. But she's very manipulative, and she wanted to control all of the elves herself, and she didn't like that Corellon was in charge. She wanted to be in charge. She ended up having 2 children with Corellon, and there are other deities, and one of them is Veyron, and there is a girl deity named Ilias Trehi. They had 2 children, and Corellon and Arashini. Corellon never knew this, that she was so like trying to get power, but Arashini was manipulative, and she somehow set up a fight between the god of orcs and the god of elves, and this was like a huge monumental fight. And Corellon, during that fight, almost died, but ended up taking out the god of orcs' right or left eye. And so a lot of orcs will, having one eye, the eye of Grumish or Grumish, is very distinguished.
Uh-huh.
And so some clerics of Grumish will actually gouge out their eye so they can be closer to their god and have like the one eye kind of a thing. It's very Odin-esque in a way.
Yeah.
So that didn't work. So she tried yet another way to like set up his demise and things like that. That didn't work. And so then finally she's just like, all right, I'm gonna like get some followers. She got all of the people that would follow her and actually led a war and attacked Corellon and his followers. So it was a big like civil war within the god Patreon area, and there were lots of people. She lost, and there was a trial, and she was found guilty. And so she was exiled from elven heaven, and she can never go back. And when she fell, when she was banished, she took some of the elves with her, those that were still loyal. And those are the Drow. Okay. And so the Drow are the ones that live, and Drow is actually like an elven word for traitor. It's like a play on that or something, like Drow or something. But anyway, it translates to that. And so she went scouring around the universe trying to find some place to live.
Mm-hmm.
And she ended up going to another plane called the Abyss, which is a lower plane of demons and evil. And that's where she went to the 66th layer, conquered it by killing whoever was ever there and taking that portfolio of spiders and growing. And then, she's just been manipulating Drow society so that they're, in a way, forced to worship her. And that like reliance on her is giving her more power, because in the Forgotten Realms, if you are worshipped more, you grow as a deity. So she's been subtly manipulating Drow society for a long time so that there's not a life without her. And those that you leave are like those that are just like, I don't want to be a part of this society anymore. It's evil, it's awful, it's all this other stuff. They're outcast, they're murdered. So you're kind of like, well, where else would I go? And so, yeah. And Drist is the Drow that got away from Lolth.
Yeah.
And everyone, like, how did he do it? And so that's why he's so important, because he has somehow left it. And all of the Drow in the Underdark are like, well, why doesn't she just strike him down dead? And they don't understand how he's still allowed to be alive, or if he's being protected by another god, or if Lolth isn't that powerful. So, I will say, when she fell from grace, she changed her name to Lolth, because that's what you do when you're evil, I guess, and you don't go by your good elf name anymore. So.
Absolutely. So, to clarify, Lolth was never originally a spider queen or a god of spiders. She was an elven god who fell from grace and was like, oh, whatever, I'll be god of spiders now, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, in a way, she just kind of gobbled up whatever portfolios she could find, and I think there's some other ones that she has. Because a lot of gods are like, I'm the god of like the harvest and of nature and of like sunshine. You know, they just have things that are kind of connected like that.
Yeah, but let's be a little bit honest here. How many people are worshiping the spider god right now? A lot? Not too many. The Drow, you got the Drow, but
there's huge cities of the Drow. There's at least like 3 or 4 large cities, and they're all worshiping her.
Yeah.
And on top of that, she has gone through the Drow pantheon and has made the other Drow gods subservient to her, or like squashed their patrons so that she's not getting, or those other guards are not getting much worship.
Gotcha. So she's kind of she's just gathering and hoarding up all of the Drow's attention, essentially.
She wants all of the elves. That's her goal at some point. Like, she fell and she took some of the elves with her, but her goal is to still take over Corellon and destroy him in some way and be the goddess of all the elves. That's what she wants.
Is she considered a pretty big threat in the D&D canon?
Yeah, huge. And she's very popular.
Cool.
She was in there was a attack against the Drow. It's a really old, I'll send you the cover when I find it.
Yeah.
But it's a really old adventure in the 70s or 80s against Lolth, and you have to like go down to the demon web pits in the abyss and fight her and things like that.
Nice.
And I think that idea of like a beautiful faced Drow woman with a big spider body it just intrigues people, and I think that's part of like why it's really popular.
I get you.
But yeah, she's kind of stamped out all the other gods. Her children also fell; they were banished. Veyron is the god of like thievery and stuff. But he hates his mother because he's basically banished because she failed. And Selvatarm is another Drow deity who is a Drider, half man, half whatever, and that's like Lolth's right hand man.
Gotcha.
But her daughter Ilias Trehi is good, is a chaotic good, and she actually, the Drow that worship Ilias Trehi they live on the surface and they kind of worship the moon and do a lot of like dancing and stuff. But they are getting squashed out because Lolth doesn't want other people to worship other Drow people.
Gotcha.
She wants the Drow for herself.
It sounds like the whole the deities and the the spiritual charts and the gods and stuff is very complicated in D&D. We see a little bit of that on Theros, but nothing to this degree at all. But that's really cool. And I just want to make one little correction that I know that you don't. And you said that Dritz is one of the few Drow that's good aligned. are you forgetting all of the player-made characters, that the thousands that are now good aligned Drow?
It's true.
We forgetting those guys?
We are not. That is true. There's lots of those, but in novels and what have you.
Yeah, I'm just pulling your leg.
But you're right, and actually, they're teasing some new Drow lore with R.A. Salvatore. He's done a lot of the books for the Forgotten Realms, and specifically about the Drow and Drizzt. Drizzt is his character.
Yeah,
and he's hinting at some new lore that there have been little pockets of Drow that Lolth hasn't been able to take over yet.
Okay, so there's going to be a rising
Drizzt
resistance, maybe.
Like Drizzt is the one that got away from Lolth's clutches, but we are kind of like, we're being led to believe that she might not be as strong as we think she is.
Okay.
You know, like she touts herself as like, oh my gosh, and the Drow are scary, and like they all worship this evil spider queen. Like, what's going on? But they've tried to attack the surface many times and failed. They've tried to do this many times and have failed. And we're learning now that maybe there's little pockets of Drow that are have had an entire life without Lolth's influence.
Yeah.
And what would that be like? And we don't know. And so it's kind of exciting time lore-wise, because there's going to be a lot of changes in that regards.
Yeah, well, really cool things to look forward to in D&D lore for sure. Lolth, Spider Queen, and Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. Obviously, big old spider who loves making spiders. It's funny because, mechanically speaking, they can only have 5, one for each of the 5 colors, and canonically, none of these characters actually have Planeswalker sparks, quote unquote. They're just chosen to be Planeswalkers because they do exhibit that ability to go between realms. So they're not the only quote unquote Planeswalkers that could be in this set. It's just the ones, mechanically speaking, that they decided to go with. Sometimes it's as simple as that.
So I've got a couple of Drow videos and a big video too. If you're interested, I can send
Absolutely.
him to Simon, and he can link them down below if you want to know more.
If you guys want to know more about Drow and big old spider queens that aren't, I guess, not really good at their jobs because they keep failing, but all those videos are going to be linked below if you guys are more interested in learning about that on Jordan's channel. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's a great place for us to wrap up then. Jordan, if you want to do a quick shout out for your content to all my peoples to find out where they can find more from you.
Yeah, so if you're interested in Dungeons & Dragons lore, there's a lot, and there's a lot of different campaign settings, and I try to cover most of them. So if you're interested in Forgotten Realms lore, there's a lot. I think the majority of my channel is Forgotten Realms lore, but I have also done some Ravenloft lore. There was a fun space D&D setting called Spelljammer back in the day, and I do talk about how planets work in a fantasy setting, so it's kind of fun. And if you're interested in any of those stuff, head on over. It's youtube.com/Jordan with a PH in the middle. Check it out.
Guys, I really recommend his content. It's fantastic. I started watching him like 3 years ago. His stuff's great. Really honored to have him on the channel here sharing the lore of these Planeswalkers with you guys today. But if you guys enjoyed the video and you want to see more of this, me and Jordan here, we love having the discussions. So if you guys like it, we're more than happy to keep them going. Leave a like on the video, comment down below, and of course hit that notification bell so you know when our videos go up. But until next time, guys, see ya.
See you later.